Look at the cash in your wallet. It feels real, right? But what if I told you it's actually a financial illusion? Right now, a quiet trillion-dollar war is raging between the US dollar and gold. And if you want the truth, behind the headlines, welcome back to The Explainer, your ultimate source for deep dive explainers. This is the story of the greatest monetary heist in human history and who actually rules the world. Let's dive in.
Welcome to This Explainer. Every time the global economy takes a hit, or a new geopolitical conflict flares up, or relentless inflation just silently eats away at your wallet, two absolute financial titans step into the ring. I'm talking about gold and the United States dollar. Today, we're diving deep into the actual mechanics of the greatest financial heist in human history. Because once you unravel this decades-long battle, you're going to understand exactly how the modern monetary system really works, and more importantly, how your money is losing its value right under your nose. Let's get right into it. In one corner, we have the US dollar. Now today, this is just a fiat currency. It's a piece of paper, or let's be real, mostly just digital pixels on a screen that relies completely on the faith and credit of a government. But in the exact opposite corner, you've got gold. And this isn't just some shiny rock. We are talking about a heavy metal literally forged in the hearts of dying stars billions of years ago. We are basically comparing a local, man-made instrument of debt to an elemental force of nature that's captivated humanity for millennia. So it really begs the question, who actually rules the global economy? Is it the central bankers in suits operating the printing presses, or is it that ancient metal sitting completely silent in the vaults? Unlocking this dynamic is the master key to understanding the macroeconomy and protecting your own wealth. But to figure out who holds the true power today, we have to rewind the clock a bit and look at how the foundation of modern commerce was built in the first place. Part 1. The Golden Anchor. For centuries, people frankly didn't trust government promises. They trusted physical weight. They relied on a strict mathematical framework called the gold standard. Under this system, a government couldn't just magically create money out of thin air to pay off its debts. Every paper note floating around had to be anchored by physical metal, locked safely in a vault. Before the massive global conflicts of the 20th century, the British pound sterling was the undisputed heavyweight champ of global commerce, and it was backed firmly by London's massive gold reserves. If you wanted to do serious business anywhere on Earth, you went through London. But then, the world caught on fire. World War I and World War II completely leveled Europe. They left these massive, long-standing empires absolutely broke, with their industries in ruins. Desperate to rebuild, European nations had to buy weapons, food, and supplies from the one major manufacturing powerhouse that was largely untouched by the destruction, America, and they had to pay up in gold. So by 1944, a shattered Europe had handed over so much of its wealth that the United States was sitting on a staggering 75% of the entire world's gold supply. Part 2. The Bretton Woods Coup. Picture this. It's July 1944, and delegates from 44 allied nations gather at a hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire to hash out a historic deal. Keep in mind, Europe is flat broke and America is sitting on a literal mountain of gold. When you hold all the physical wealth, you get to make the rules. Step 1 of this New World's order, the world agreed to ditch the pure gold standard, and instead, global currencies would peg their value directly to the US dollar. Step 2, to keep everybody calm and ensure stability, the US dollar would then be pegged directly to gold. And step 3, that exchange rate was permanently fixed at $35 an ounce. Overnight, the whole globe was suddenly dependent on American currency. America made an incredibly bold promise to a recovering world. Your greenbacks are as good as gold. The US practically guaranteed that any foreign nation could hold on to paper dollars with total confidence, knowing they could swap them back for physical American metal whenever they wanted, on demand. And just like that, fueled by immense trust and an unmatched gold reserve, the US dollar was crowned the undisputed reserve currency of the global financial system. Part 3. The Nixon Shock and the Great Betrayal. Fast forward to the late 1960s, and Washington is feeling the heat. They're facing immense economic pressure to fund massive deficits. The printing presses are running red hot to pay for the Vietnam War overseas, plus all these sweeping domestic spending programs at home. Well, by 1970, European nations started doing the math, and they realized it was fundamentally broken. The US was printing way more paper dollars than it actually had gold in Fort Knox to back them up. France panicked. They literally loaded up ships with paper dollars, sent them across the Atlantic to New York, and aggressively demanded their physical gold back. Facing a catastrophic global bank run, the US was backed into a serious corner. Then came the climax. August 15th, 1971. President Richard Nixon walked onto national television and officially suspended the dollar's convertibility into gold. He slammed the vault door shut. In a single night, the fundamental nature of money changed completely. The US dollar became a fiat currency. That means it is money backed by absolutely nothing but a government promise and its military might. That golden anchor that had stabilized human commerce for centuries completely severed. Part 4. The Financial Seesaw. Ever since that fateful day in 71, gold and the US dollar have been locked in this perpetual tug-of-war for dominance. Think of it like a giant financial seesaw. When the US economy is booming and interest rates are high, capital naturally flocks to the dollar. The paper generates a yield, meaning it pays you interest just to hold it. But when things go south, when inflation spikes, central banks start recklessly printing money again, or banks begin to fail, the illusion of paper wealth shatters. Investors sprint away from the dollar and rush straight back to heavy metal. See, gold remains the ultimate safe haven, precisely because it is totally immune to the printing press. In a world of fiat currency where trillions of dollars in value can be whipped up with a simple keystroke, gold stands alone. It cannot be printed into oblivion, it can't be corrupted by some centralized authority, and it certainly can't be devalued by politicians trying to monetize their massive debts. It is, and always has been, nature's unalterable money. Part 5. The Future of Money. So, where does the global financial system go from here, especially with all the geopolitical tension we're seeing today? Well, right now, the US dollar is still the king. It currently dominates roughly 80% of all global trade. Most of the world still relies heavily on government paper to buy critical, everyday stuff like oil, electronics, and food. The dollar is unquestionably running the show. But if you look just beneath the surface of that massive dominance, the geopolitical fault lines are cracking wide open. And those structural cracks, they're largely coming from the BRICS nations. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are not just sitting on the sidelines watching Western monetary policy self-destruct. Their central banks are quietly, consistently buying up physical gold bullion at the fastest pace in recorded history. They are actively de-dollarizing their sovereign reserves because they understand the great paradox here. While the dollar rules the current system, gold reclaims the throne the second that fiat systems inevitably fracture. And trust me, they are aggressively preparing for that exact shift. We've seen exactly how this unprecedented heist unfolded, how paper money was completely detached from reality, and how the world's biggest economic blocs are quietly hoarding metal all over again. So I'll leave you with this. Government paper or heavy metal? Which one are you betting your future on? Think about it and let me know your choice below. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.